Well, let's ask Alp Mehmet, Chairman of Migration Watch. Alp, a very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
Carl makes a good point there, doesn't he? I mean, we've got Shabana Mahmood on the front page of the Telegraph today saying that she's having a big meeting with people from the Balkan countries today in Downing Street. The Balkan interior ministers are all going to join her to try and see whether or not there's anything they can do to stop people moving through their countries. As Carl says, how do we know they're moving through those countries if we don't know who they are?
This is more delusional talk, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
Our government haven't got a clue how to stop them. They've been time and time again saying they're going to do this and that, they're going to smash the gang, whatever. The only thing they're doing is smashing their credibility.
Yes.
Even looking at the Palestinians and what's been happening there, already we've sent a message that we're going to welcome however many it is. There are 2 million Gazans. There are 5.5 million Palestinians. And the message that's gone out to them is make your way here and we will make you comfortable and we will allow you to stay. That's the message that's gone out. And with regard to those who are coming in through the Balkans, let's not forget that they're actually having got into Europe through the Balkans. They're not making their way directly here. They're going through other EU countries in order to get here.
Right.
The fact is that we have no control. It's not a case of losing control. We haven't had control of either legal or illegal migration for a long time. And it's time that the government came to terms with this and took on board the fact that they've got to get serious about stemming the tide of immigration that is hitting us.
Yes, because I mean, back in 2018, when the boat crossings sort of started, I guess, there was a very small number at the beginning, wasn't there? And I guess what happened was that the people smugglers got ever more bold and decided this was an easy thing to do. And so they just started carting more and more people across the channel, and which they've been doing
Indeed.
kind of in increasing numbers ever since.
Well, in 2018, when it all started, in January, there was something like 7 in one dinghy that made their way across. There were 299 in the whole of 2018, and it's been growing since. It's growing again this year. We're over 36,000 just across the channel. I'm afraid the only reason that it's happening is because it works.
Yeah.
If you get yourself here, you're going to get to stay. The Palestinians who came in up to the year to June 24, there were 38. The following year, in the year to June this year, there were 324. The year before, there were 327 who applied for asylum. Last year, or in the course of the past year, there were 141. I mean, all these people are succeeding simply by getting here and applying for asylum. 80% of those who apply for asylum from Palestine are being allowed asylum. But apart from that, even when they're refused, they're not being sent back. What I would say, Mike, is look at what happened after Afghanistan. For those who are saying now, well, we've got peace in the Middle East. Maybe, but it's going to be a hell of a long time before things get back to any sort of normality and have the conditions to persuade people not to leave.
Well, that's
it's
right.
not going to happen anytime soon, and I'm afraid they will make their way here because we will look after them and they will get to stay.
Of course. Well, I was reading a story just the other day, earlier this week, about a Palestinian woman who I think was in her mid to late 30s, who was being brought to Britain to study at Glasgow University for some nebulous, ridiculous PhD that wouldn't be of any use to man or beast, and she was complaining because apparently she was supposed to be bringing her husband and 3 kids with her, but she was refused entry onto the bus that was leaving Palestine, and this was before the peace deal was even done, because they said there wasn't enough room for the husband and the 3 kids. But so obviously we are giving solace to these Palestinians, not only to them to come here and study, and maybe presumably pay for their tutelage and pay for their living, the cost of living and all of that, but they're allowed to bring their families with them. So that would be 4 or 5 people coming into a country that's already overburdened and already paying through the nose for millions and millions of people who are both homegrown and foreign. I mean, the story today, I think, says 1 in 6 people claiming universal credit are now migrants.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we keep saying what a huge cost this is. And not only is it costly, but what we're doing is we're going to take in any wretched individual, anyone in dire conditions, as they put it. We're going to say to them, you can come here, and the British taxpayer is going to pay for it all and look after you. That is wrong. Isn't it time that Shabana Mahmood, Sir Keir Starmer actually took heed and listened to what the British taxpayer is saying? They want this to stop, and they want it to stop in their name. What is happening at the moment is not something that the British taxpayers are prepared to pay for, to take in. There are 200 million displaced people around the world. As our laws are, and as our courts have now decided, every single one of them is potentially able to come here and claim asylum and be looked after. That is wrong.
Well, exactly right. And in the paper today is pictures of the bloke called Fayaz Khan, as he's known, who's the man that came over on a small boat, filmed himself coming on a small boat, and said on a video on TikTok that he was going to kill Nigel Farage, right? He's from Afghanistan. He was sentenced yesterday for 5 years. Let's have a look at what Nigel Farage had to say after his conviction.
This violent criminal, somebody with 17 convictions in Sweden, in 18 months' time, he will be in this country, living in a house of multiple occupancy or a hotel. He'll be free to walk the streets whilst his asylum claim is being judged. And the only reason we know about this guy is because somebody sent it to me on TikTok. And it makes me wonder, how many other Madapassers are there now in this country, or will there be as the boats continue to cross the channel?
And of course, one, he shouldn't surely be able to continue to claim asylum if he's been convicted for a violent offence which puts him in prison for 5 years. 2, he was apparently sentenced to 8 months in prison already for illegally entering the country. So how is he able to be sent to prison when nobody else is?
Well, what I'm more concerned about is that in 18 months' time, when he's freed and he's able to walk the streets and he applies for asylum, we're going to put him up, because we can't allow him to become destitute. Right. We're going to give him £50 a week to await the outcome of his application, and then I wager that he will be allowed to stay, because we won't be prepared to send him back to Afghanistan, and I'm sure that no one else will have him. So this can't be serious. It really can't be serious.
It's a joke. It is absolutely a joke. Alp, very good to see you. Thank